I did that whole episode with only one beer.
Wow.
I mean, I know. Last week I had like 4 by this point.
Well, I think that means it's time for overtime beers.
Is that Clamato?
No.
Overtime beers.
Lakeside Cherry.
Overtime beers. That was a little rough. What time is it? It's only 10:30. We can knock this out in a half hour.
Game time.
LETSGO. So, a couple things that I want to start with. First and foremost, I need to address the Viking fans, and I want to let you know that I see you. Okay, I read the comments. A lot of Stole, a lot of purple haze. I get it. All right, you're excited. You're 4-0. You're rocking the world. I see you. But it's only week 4. We're on to week 5. Quit living in the past is what I'm saying. We're marching forward. That's all I got to say about the Vikings fans.
So I heard this on the broadcast as soon as the Vikings won the game. Clock hit 0. Vikings go 4-0. And the announcers said, first time since 2016 the Vikings have started 4-0. So I was like, let's find out. It happened in 2016. So the last time the Vikings went 4-0 to start the season, they ended the season 8-8. So, let's slow down a little bit.
That's some great fact checking right there. Appreciate it.
There is a lot of football left. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. And then also, even during the game, there were comments from the broadcast about Sam Darnold in the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's week 4, and it's Sam Darnold. Like, I get that he's playing very well, but to talk about him in the MVP race right now, like, let's, again, slow down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I was receiving all sorts of snaps from Vikings fans, friends, the people I would consider friends, just yapping. And I'm like, when it was, I think 21-0, I was still like 100% confident. Then it was 28-0. I was starting to waver. And I'm like, they stop. They just need to stop at this point. It's not even close. It's not even a game. I don't want to hear it. Yeah. But to your point with MVPs, it's not going to be Sam Darnold, but you think Love has any shot at that award? I mean, there's a lot of season left, 4 weeks down, but
you think with the schedule, there's more games this go around. There's 17 games now, so that's something different. Missing 2 games that hurts his chances. But I mean,
missing 2 and then playing 2 poor games for the most part doesn't help his chances.
I think this early in the season, I don't think it's out of the question, but he's obviously got to turn his play around, and Packers got to start winning games. I don't think it's out of the question, but it is a lot tougher with the way the season has started.
Yeah, he's going to have to go on an absolute just tear over the next couple weeks and then finish strong and make the playoffs. So that's stuff that goes with it. But yeah, it's not an ideal start for what we envisioned. We didn't see an injury coming, but what we envisioned to be just like a breakout season. Or I thought it was going to be a breakout season for Jordan Love. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's still a shot, but let's talk about, you see the news on Davonte Adams today?
I did. He's officially requested a trade.
Yeah.
Did you see, you know why he did, right? Which is pretty crazy.
No.
So
they suck?
So there's that. But apparently fans or someone had put out like an Instagram post about, it was a fake Instagram post about Davonte Adams being traded somewhere, or maybe it was just fans calling for the Raiders to trade Davonte Adams, and the head coach liked the Instagram post.
Oh.
So it was all over the place that he liked this Instagram post about Davonte Adams getting traded. And then I saw Adams had done an interview on ESPN or somewhere like that and said that no one from the organization, the head coach, no one reached out to him to apologize for it or say anything otherwise, that they didn't want to trade him, want him to stay in Vegas, that no one had reached out to him at all. And then shortly after I saw the news that he, the interview that he did saying no one reached out to him, shortly after that, I saw that he officially requested a trade. And now the Raiders have come out and said that they'll consider offers that include a second round pick and other pieces.
So more compensation.
It's a thing. Davonte Adams may very well get traded before the week 5 game.
Yeah, I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but hear it from me. If you have any hope whatsoever that Davonte Adams will don a Green Bay Packers jersey again, stop it. I'm telling you right now, as I've mentioned before, these things don't happen. And it's a super high price tag. We have receivers. We don't a reunion. Do I like the idea of it? Sure. I'd love to see Adams in a Packers jersey again, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Lay it to rest. Bury it with all your beliefs on unicorns, all right? Because it's not going to happen. That's all I got to say on that.
As far as the 4-year-old, unicorns are real, okay?
Well, and that's where we're at. And
they're her favorite animal.
4-year-olds might believe that Davonte is coming back to the Packers, but it's not happening. But what team do you think he ultimately lands on? The clear and obvious is probably New York, reuniting with Aaron Rodgers. There's Derek Carr down in New Orleans. That's the whole reason he went to Vegas in the first place. I've heard some rumblings of the Commanders and with what Daniels is doing out there at quarterback. The Ravens are one maybe stud wide receiver away from just being completely unstoppable.
Yeah,
a couple of these teams have been floated.
Cordero Patterson on the Pittsburgh Steelers is trying to recruit him. He wants him over there in Pittsburgh. I mean, another thing to think about is teams that have had some injuries, especially this week. The Kansas City Chiefs lost their ultimately number 1 wide receiver in Rashee Rice this week. Doesn't look like he's going to be coming back. It's not official yet. They haven't said what exactly the injury ended up being, but it doesn't look like he's going to be back anytime soon. So
I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but Davonte Adams will not go to the Kansas City Chiefs. That's initially where my mind went first, was like Kansas City needs wide receivers, and they do this sort of thing. They go out there and make splashy free agent signings and just win a bunch of Super Bowls. The problem with that, though, is that same division, and the Vegas Raiders will not trade Davonte to. It'd be like us trading Aaron Jones to the Vikings. It just wouldn't happen, right? You got to wait till you're the free agent for that shit to happen. You don't do that. So I don't think I would rule out the Chiefs, but that crossed my mind as well.
And who knows if he ends up going anywhere. Maybe they smooth things over and he stays in Vegas. But as of right now, it looks like it's definitely possible he ends up somewhere else.
Yeah, so the trade deadline is November 5th. Right now, if a team was to trade for him today, they'd have to take on $14 million for the rest of the season and a little over $70 million for the next 2 seasons. None of it's guaranteed money, but it goes down a little less than $1 million for every week that a team doesn't trade for him. So if they get all the way down to the trade deadline, you're looking at a $10 million wide receiver for the second half of the season. And then maybe you can restructure the contract or whatnot wherever he lands. But this is something that I don't think will happen anytime soon. I think teams will kind of continue to see how their seasons shake out. But I don't know, stranger things have happened. My gut tells me that it's probably the Jets. If I'm being honest with you, I think that's the one that makes the most sense. Aaron Rodgers runs that whole organization. I see you rolling your eyes over there, but he runs that whole. Saleh can't say anything in a press conference without having to backtrack on it after Rodgers says something. So, what a mess that is.
You so happy that we are done with that?
Yes,
it's bad.
100%.
It's bad. Did you see? It wasn't this last week. It was during week 3. Rodgers came off the field. I think they scored a touchdown. Saleh came over to give him a hug, and Rodgers shoved him out of the way and gave him a dirty look. I mean, there was a lot of talk about it, and after the game, I think Rodgers and Saleh both kind of brush it off like, oh yeah, he's not a big hugger, blah blah blah. But it looked bad. It looked like Rodgers was telling him off. And
Right.
if you got a player telling off the head coach like that, and the head coach doesn't do anything about it, doesn't say anything about it, there's issues. So
Yep.
I'm so happy to be done with that Rodgers drama, honestly.
Yeah, and that's why I think Rodgers is essentially the GM of that team. They brought in, I mean, let's not kid ourselves. They went out and signed Alan Lazard for just a ridiculous amount of money before to like lure Rodgers over to the Jets. Like, what are we doing, right? So I wouldn't put it past them. That's kind of and if it's a $10 million trade, maybe they have to spend a little bit more to get him earlier, whatever the case. The team that I would like him to go to, not because it would help the Packers win a Super Bowl by any means, but if he goes to the Ravens, that team would be just so hard to stop. They looked nasty against the Bills on Sunday, and yeah, that would be crazy. That'd be my surprise pick, but my gut says it's going to be the Jets.
We mentioned the Kansas City Chiefs in this Adams conversation. Did you see how Rashee Rice got injured?
No, I don't watch injuries. I got knee problems. I got knee problems and like really struggled with that when I was younger. Always getting hurt, hitting my knee on shit. I just don't deal with it.
Did you read about what happened? I believe what happened was
I got a really active imagination, and I just try not to even visualize mentally what that might look like. But go ahead, please tell me about it.
I believe what happened was Mahomes threw a pick, and both Rashee Rice and Mahomes were trying to tackle the guy after Mahomes threw the pick, and Mahomes went low trying to cut the guy's legs out and ended up cutting out Rashee Rice's legs and potentially causing a season-ending injury to his own number one wide receiver.
Yeah,
which that's got to be rough for both Mahomes and for Chiefs fans. First he throws a pick, and then he takes out his own wide receiver. Like, oofda, that's a bad play.
Yeah, I did not see that. I will. Yeah, okay, I did catch that part. I saw the highlight, but yeah, I immediately looked away. And you're right. Luckily, they got the ball back. They forced a fumble, and Kansas City got the ball back. But double whammy. A lot of emotions going on in that 30 seconds or 20 seconds that entire thing went down.
And they still pull out a win.
All they do is win, 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 no matter what.
That's something to say about the Chiefs, though. We'll get to power rankings later, and we talked about last week how both of us agree that they're probably going to stay at the top of that power rankings until they lose a game. But every single one of their games has been fairly close. And at some point, it's going to tip, and they're going to get that loss. And they may continue to get losses. With how close these games have been, I don't know if we see the Chiefs as successful as number one in the power rankings like they've been all so far this season.
NFL.com, you see that? They put Vikings at number one in the power rankings.
Oh, really?
They did. Yeah.
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 What? Gives me the
heebie-jeebies. Yeah. Well, let them have their parade. I mean, again, they don't realize that it's not about. That's probably what gave me the most solace. I've seen us have bad losses in the past and still put together a good season and make a fight for a playoff run, right? I mean, the Vikings, that's all they have in the regular season. This is their Super Bowl right now. They have to enjoy it. That's all they got.
I like how during our last episode talking about that Packers-Viking game, he started off saying, like, Vikings fans, the Vikings are a good team. Like, I have nothing against them, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as we get to overtime, we're both like, just like.
Dude, I didn't check the TikTok for the rest of the day Sunday. And I woke up Monday morning, 99 plus new notifications. And it's just skull, purple haze. Why aren't you saying anything? I'm like, I'm not going to go through and reply to every one of these fucking comments. It was so yeah. I still dislike the Bears more than the Vikings, but even I can have enough of the bullshit of just okay, I get it. You're 4-0. Okay, I've seen this story play out so many times. I'm not worried about you guys falling apart at some point. I'm not worried about the Packers picking it up and being competitive. So yeah, you're right. I brought it up. I tried to be friendly. I tried to be friendly last week,
We tried. We tried.
but at the heart, nothing. Only other team.
Um,
I was just gonna say the only other team that we haven't talked about. I don't want to talk about the Bears. I don't really care. I'm past my Bears phase. Want to talk about the Lions at all? They looked pretty good on Sunday night. They put up Monday night. They put up a bunch of points. Seahawks battled for most of that game. I took the Seahawks to win that game, but it just ultimately Detroit continued to put points on the board and made plays when plays needed to be made, and the rest is history.
yeah, that Lions team is clicking. I talked about it after that week 1 win they had against the Rams. I just felt like they weren't clicking the way we expected them to. Their offense wasn't running as well as it could. And as the season has gone on, they've started picking that up and clicking. And this Monday night game was everything working again for them. I mean, it was a few weeks ago, but you asked my opinion on Jared Goff and if I thought he was a good quarterback. I said I think he's a good quarterback.
Yeah.
He went 18 for 18. He threw a perfect game. I mean, that's pretty damn good. So the Lions are clicking. They're looking like a dominant team that we kind of expected them to be. I think the first couple of weeks were outliers. I think they continue to be successful.
So do you think you think 3 teams from the NFC North make the playoffs
Ooh, that'd be fun.
after week 4? I mean, we have the benefit. I think the only real division, I guess the South has both the Saints and the Falcons who've kind of been up and down. Tampa Bay is in that too. So there's like 3 teams that I think I said this when we did our predictions, but that division just kind of beats the shit out of each other, right? We might see that in the NFC North with some of these matchups. There could be splits all over the place in these head-to-heads. We have the benefit of playing the NFC West. So those games, like the Rams and the Cardinals, are going to be super important to not only keep their records low, but any potential tiebreakers. But I mean, gut feeling, my gut says there could be 3 teams from the NFC North that make the playoffs. I mean, multiple power rankings have these 3 teams. The Packers obviously flipped in the loser on Sunday, but I think, it's kind of crazy to think about.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, we can talk a little about the NFC East as well. You got the Washington Commanders leading that division right now, which also has the Eagles and the Cowboys in it, which obviously the Eagles and Cowboys have not played well, but they both are teams that potentially could pick it up throughout the season. The Eagles being in our power rankings for most of the season so far. They've dropped a couple of them, but they certainly could get healthy and start making a comeback. But if the Commanders keep winning that division as well, you could see more than one team out of that division too. So it's tough. I mean, we're so early in the season. It's hard to say which division you're going to see the most teams out of, but yeah, there's a lot of potential everywhere.
Yeah, 13 teams right now are 2-2. Jets, Falcons, Saints, Ravens, Cowboys, Eagles, Packers, Niners are all 2-2 teams. So
wow, a lot of teams that we wouldn't have expected to be 2-2.
Right.
Yeah, it's been kind of a weird season. I wasn't expecting teams to be dominant and start off hot, and there have been a lot of upsets, a lot of teams that have come out of the ashes and performed well. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're 3-1. Yeah, it's been kind of a goofy season so far.
Goofy. On that note, did you have any other topics before we get into power rankings and score predictions?
I mean, I noted a few other games that I know you didn't watch any other football after the
I know that's why.
We hit a few of them already. Dolphins, they played on Monday as well. Dropped one to the Titans. That's a tough one.
Who'd you have in that game? It was the Dolphins. All right. You felt that betting on the Dolphins too. I took the winless Titans to take down the Dolphins.
Well, let's move on. A couple of games I have noted. The Jets did not score a touchdown this week. Aaron Rodgers got memed again. There's been many memes made of
like the Karen meme.
Sideline. No, it was
Karen Rodgers.
Remember, gosh, it was one of the last couple of seasons with the Packers, but he got sacked and his helmet came up, and yep. So there was memes all over the place with that. Well, this time with the Jets, it's him on the sideline with a towel over his head, just hiding his face and how terrible the Jets offense played this week. Talk about the Tampa Bay Bucks. They've looked good. They're 3-1. They've beat both the Lions and the Eagles, which are both teams that we've had in our top 10 power rankings all season so far.
But they lost to the Broncos. Who'd you have in that game?
Man.
All right. Just checking.
Okay. My picks have been pretty bad. I was looking at that graphic that you made last week of our record as far as picks go. You were 10, I think 10-6, and I'm 6-10.
Wait till you see the next one. I can probably throw it up here. I do have it made already. Let's see. Through weeks, I mean, we only did out. We didn't really land on a bunch of picks in the first 2 weeks for whatever reason. We were just talking about our Survivor picks, and we really need to give up on that because we're really bad at it. But after week 4, you dropped down. I'm 19-13. You dropped down to 13-19. We're mirroring each other. Like there's certain games that we both pick and they either lose or they win, and then it's the oddball ones where I throw a little curveball in there.
There's a lot of football left. There's a lot of season left.
There is 100%. I had a bad week 1. I had a very bad week 1. It's no coincidence that that's not part of the rankings. So you talk about the Dolphins, you talk about the Bucks. Anyone else you want to talk about?
We kind of already hit on it. Ravens looked very good, taking down a Bills team that we were both high on last week. Really,
we took the Ravens in that game. Out of curiosity,
man.
I took the Chargers, to be fair. All right. You played it safe with the Chiefs. Both took the Cowboys. I went Saints. You went Falcons. You got that one. We both took the Bengals, and they won. We both took the Rams. They lost. Both took the Packers. They lost. Both took the Texans.
They won.
They won?
Texans won.
Jacksonville's 0-4. Ouch. Both took the Steelers, and the Colts won that one.
They did.
Right, okay. We're good. We're good. Took the Jets. They look terrible. I took the Bucks. You took the Eagles. I don't think we want to get into the second half because I just kind of that's where I made up ground. I made up a lot of ground. Back there. I had the Raiders. I had the Ravens. I had the Titans. Like I said, I had the Seahawks. But why don't we just go into week 5? Let's see if you can totally redeem yourself.
Yeah, let's roll through them. I need to make up some ground here.
Put a little bit more thought into this because last week I guess what I've been doing has been working, but I put a little bit more thought into this. I have my column already filled out. Maybe you did some research, maybe not, but
I ran out of time. I was going to go through the schedule, but I ran out of time. So this is all on the fly.
Here we go. So Tampa Bay, Atlanta, opening it up on Thursday Night Football. Really good game. Litmus test. I'm not doing that again. I did that way too much last week. You take Tampa Bay in this game. I think even though heading into Atlanta, I think they come away with a victory in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to take Bucks too.
All right. The early 8:30 a.m. kickoff, Jets versus Vikings. Any surprises here with this one? You going to do an upset pick with the Aaron Rodgers and Jets?
Yeah, I'm going to take the Jets.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to stick with the Vikings on this one. Yeah. I'm going to do that. They're good. Fuck you, Vikings fans. Carolina at Chicago. I am taking the Carolina Panthers in week
I am as
5.
well.
All right.
Well, we got it figured out. The Panthers did lose in week 4.
It did.
But they still look so much better with Andy Dalton. So,
yeah.
And we don't have to go over how terrible the Bears are. So
nope, we don't. Baltimore, who looks like it's not the Vikings, the other very good purple team in the league, but the Ravens looked really good against Buffalo. And like I said, yeah, I didn't watch any football. I didn't watch the Sunday night game. I'm taking the Ravens. You taking the Ravens?
No, I'm gonna go with my gut. I'm gonna go Bengals.
Is it because you think the Bengals are better than what their record is? I mean, obviously.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it, but also I feel like the Ravens are going to be up and down all season with the 0-2 start, and then they turn around and demolish the Bills. I feel like they're going to be up and down. So I don't know, just have a feeling that they got an away game now. Bengals are probably a better team than we've seen so far this year, so yeah.
I like it. You're making the kind of picks I made last week. I'm starting to doubt everything I'm saying right now. Damn it. You're going to catch up. I'm going to go with Buffalo over the Houston Texans. No other comment there for me.
This is it's a good game. This is one that I'm definitely going to make sure that I catch some of at least. I'm going to go Texans.
Yeah, DVR it. Sorry. I spoke over your Texans pick. All right. I think you're just trying to make up ground. You are just like Jordan Love when there's plenty of time left in the game and you're making some crazy decisions out there. There's a lot of season left. You don't have to get crazy all at once. But, all right, Texans. You like the Texans. Your Texans is like how I am with the Cardinals. It's like a false belief, though. Yeah.
Do you think so?
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll find out on Sunday at noon on CBS. Colts versus Jacksonville. I'm going to take Jacksonville in this game versus the Colts.
I'm going to take Jacksonville as well. And it's not necessarily because I think Jacksonville is a better team than we've seen, but the Colts are dealing with injuries. Anthony Richardson, I believe, is going to be out. Jonathan Taylor is going to be out. So, yeah, their offense is hurting. So I think Jacksonville finally gets a win this week.
Wow, their first win of the season coming in week 5. A little bit of a surprise. And that's a very expensive quarterback they got back there for an 0-4 football team. Miami visits New England. I'm going to let you go first on this.
I will take, fuck it, I'm taking the Dolphins.
Okay. All right. I'm going to take the Patriots. A fucking landslide. What are you doing over there? And you're not changing your mind at this point. You put it out in the universe. You're taking the Dolphins. Cleveland heads to Washington. I think for the first time for a 3-1 team, this is the first time that I'm actually taking the Commanders to win a game.
Yeah. Yeah, Commanders have looked good. Jaden Daniels has looked phenomenal. So, yeah, I'll take the Commanders too.
You going with the Commanders almost makes me want to change my prediction.
Go ahead. You won't.
I'll do it. I'll take Cleveland. I'll take Cleveland. Washington's riding high. People are talking about them. They're at home against a struggling Cleveland team who has performed less than expected. So all the makings for an upset. I'm going to go with the Browns on this one. I'll change my answer on my spreadsheet. Vegas and the Davonte Adams list Raiders head to Bo Nix country, high country, Denver, Colorado. I took the Broncos in this one.
Yeah, I'll take the Broncos too. A lot of issues in Vegas. Although they've won the last 2 weeks in a row, haven't they?
I can't confirm or deny that. I didn't watch any football on Sunday. I shouldn't be running a podcast at this point. Arizona. My Arizona Cardinals head to San Francisco, and I'm not even going to mess with it. I'm taking the Niners. They've let me down too much.
I'd be interested to see what, as far as San Francisco's offensive weapons, who ends up playing. As far like Debo, Kittle, we know McCaffrey's not coming back yet, but I think either way, I'm still going to take the Niners. But I think without the weapons, I think it's closer than some may expect.
The Giants head to Seattle. I have the Seahawks. Yep, I have Seattle. Man, I really want to go back and switch to the Cardinals. What is it? That Cardinals effect is the same thing you have with the Texans. It's this belief, and that was last week's comments, and we're not going back to that. So, Dallas at Pittsburgh, Sunday night football. Justin Fields still going to be the quarterback. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah. I saw something today that it sounds like Fields will stay as the starter.
Okay, not giving up on him. All right, go for it. What do you want? I'll take the opposite team. It's a 2-for-1 special for you, Christian.
Two for one special. I'm going to take the Cowboys.
That's who I originally took, but I'll ride and die with the Steelers on this one. Steelers are terrible, so this should be a good comeback one for you. I'll put my name on the Steelers though. And then last but not least, New Orleans travels to Kansas City, and this is where I have Kansas City getting their first loss. Arrowhead's just a loud, nasty place to play. I'm sure that stadium's going to be loud and roaring, but I think Kansas City's been hanging on by a thread the last couple of weeks, as we discussed, and I see New Orleans bouncing back and getting a victory.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chiefs for kind of the same reasons why what you just said. Arrowhead's a tough place to play, and the Saints are coming off of 2 losses. So I think the Chiefs, again, it's probably a close game, but I think they continue this week, maybe next week.
So they go 5-0. I mean, they got Patrick Mahomes. He's a good quarterback. He's willing that team to victories.
So he's okay. He's okay,
Yeah.
right?
Yep. On to power rankings. Last segment of our overtime episode. So before I pull this up, do you still want to stick with your original one you sent me last night, or do you want the updated one from today?
Today.
Okay, well, I don't have that one. So we're going to look at the one you sent me last night, and you can explain what happens at number 10 on your Houston Texans. Because a quick observation of Christian's power rankings, there's a notable team that we talk about occasionally on this podcast that's absent. So on this one, you kept the Packers at 11, just outside the top 10. The one you sent me today put the Packers back at number 10. You're flip-flopping a little bit, but you want the Packers at 10.
I told you I had to sleep on it.
All right, so I'm gonna snap my fingers and I'll switch it to the updated power rankings for Christian. And there we go. Now you're looking at the updated power rankings. The magic of editing. So assume that the Packers are at the bottom of your rankings. Go ahead and run through what you got for us here.
So I got Green Bay at 10. I got Houston at 9. Seattle at 8. Reason for keeping Seattle in there, so they did lose to the Lions. But like you mentioned when we were kind of talking about that game, they fought back, and the Seahawks still looked good in that game. The Lions just outplayed them, I think. So I got Seattle at 8, San Francisco at 7, Tampa Bay at 6. We talked about that a little bit. They've beat both the Lions and the Eagles, both teams that we've had in our power rankings so far this season. Buffalo drops down to 5 after that loss to the Ravens. And then I got the Ravens at 4. Ravens, as you can see from my original power rankings that I sent you, I had the Ravens higher. Yeah. They still did start 0-2. And like I said, going through when I picked against them this week, I feel like they're going to be kind of up and down. So I felt like I needed to move them down from that 2 spot. But they did look very dominant in their win this week. So Baltimore at 4, Detroit at 3, and Minnesota at 2, and Kansas City staying at the top spot.
You're flirting with number 1 with Minnesota, just creeping right there in the number 2 spot. Just couldn't give it to them like NFL Network.
No, I couldn't. I couldn't bring myself to do that.
So that was really confusing for me because you sent me your updated rankings this afternoon, and all I saw was Green Bay at 10, and I assumed that nothing else changed. But as you started talking through it, I'm like, oh my God, you shifted all sorts of things on your power rankings from what you initially said, which is fine. This is a tough thing to do. Try and pick the top 10 teams in the league and try to stay unbiased. And and whatnot. When we originally did it, we had a lot of teams in the same position. I just really hope that I'm not impacting where you're placing your teams, because I don't want to be at fault for your score picks, for your power rankings. I don't want to be responsible for that. So you're good with this power rankings?
The ones I just ran through, yes.
Which is on screen right now because I snapped my fingers. You gotta stay with me here, okay?
Yes.
All right, cool. All right. So on my side at number 10, I put the Washington Commanders in there. Tough thing to do, but I felt like they needed a little bit of love, being 3-1 and looking like they've looked. I think the 10 spot is maybe a little bit of a throwaway spot, but I want to give them a little bit of credit. I don't know if they're going to be on here very long. If they win on Sunday, like I apparently picked them to do, did I pick them or did I flip flop? Either way, if they win on Sunday, I probably still keep them at 10. I don't think I'm going to move them up that chart a whole lot more. Number 9, I kept the Eagles, or brought down the Eagles from my previous ranking at 8. Tampa Bay jumps up after a victory. Packers I kept at 7. So you had Packers at 10 on yours. Again, maybe it's blind optimism. We don't really know, but I felt really good about that second half performance, as we've discussed in length. And this is one of the better 2-2 teams of the 13 that are out there right now. So I kept them at number 7 in my power rankings. Niners, put them at 6. A little bit of blind faith there, but I think that they'll bounce back this week, even though I don't know if I picked them. I kind of backtracking everything that I just picked. Okay, perfect. Beautiful. Good. I stuck with that one. Buffalo Bills drop after getting demolished by the Baltimore Ravens. And then at 4, the Lions looking hot. Ravens looking hot as well after that victory over Buffalo. And Minnesota at number 2. I'm keeping Kansas City there. Truthfully, if I'm being just a football fan and not a Packers fan, I could have put Minnesota at number 1 because they've looked like a team that's played better than the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, they won the Super Bowl. They started there. Until they lose, I won't move them. And based on my schedule predictions, I have a chance of moving them down because I see an upset brewing with the New Orleans Saints. So a lot of movement from both of us on our power rankings for week 5. And it's just, I guess that's just kind of how crazy, to your point, this season has started out. It's hard to predict who's going to win and lose.
I've never really done power rankings before. Tried to pick who I think the top 10 teams are. And then you read ESPN, NFL.com, all these different outlets that give their opinion on the top 10. And a lot of times you see a team in that top 10 somewhere and you're like, how can you say that they're a top 10 team or top 2 team, whatever? Now that we actually do it, it is very difficult.
It is
very difficult to do. So all those writers out there that put out these power rankings, I give them credit because it's not easy to do.
So I never did power rankings before when I ran this a couple of years ago, but that's one of the first things I would do on Tuesday morning when I woke up. It's like, okay, I think the Packers are at 6. And then I would look at ESPN, look at NFL, CBS Sports, and if they were like right around 6, I'm like, yeah, I got it right. I know what I'm talking about. They are a 6 or whatever, wherever they landed. So I would do that religiously. But yeah, when you have to do it yourself and try to rank these teams, that's the ultimate challenge for sure, because who is trending, who's not is a big part of these power rankings. But the second thing that just sparked in my mind is I have a whole new appreciation for like Good Morning Football and NFL Live, and like the amount of football you need to consume. And like you have to watch every game and have insight on every game. And they do it in such a small window of time, right? Like there's no way they must have producers and shit that give them all sorts of things to say. Cause I don't know how you
got a whole staff that watches these games and gives them the highlights and gives them the talking points and stuff like that. Yeah, they got a whole team of people helping them have their insight into every single game.
Yep.
Yeah,
it's just us. And that's how you end up with so many people picking the Cowboys to beat the Packers in the playoffs, because they literally didn't have any time invested into all the previous splittage or the games or things that I think we felt. So yeah, it's like I said, it gives me a whole new appreciation. And that's what I did. I woke up on Monday and watched Good Morning Football, and that's how I learned that the Ravens absolutely destroyed the Buffalo Bills. And then I had to dive into it a little bit further and be like, all right, that was not a pretty game, but different appreciation. Well, I think that's all we got to talk about. Looking forward to week 5. It's crazy. Week 5, October's here. Like I said, Packers have I think a streak of games here that they can get going on. Rams, Cardinals, Houston, and Jacksonville. So that's our month of October. 4-0.
That Houston game.
It's fucking Houston. You got to get off that Houston train, dude. How to get off of this?
I don't know, man. I don't know. Houston.
The whiteout game.
What? It's the whiteout game.
The whiteout. Yes.
Yeah,
they're bringing it.
Yeah. I saw right before we started recording, I saw a post. It was on one of those NFC North trash talk pages on Facebook or something like that. And someone posted all 4 NFC North teams and their alternate helmets. The whiteout for the Vikings, whiteout for the Packers, the Bears, the all orange, and then the Lions, the ones that they wore last night in their Monday night game. They had the all blue with the black lion on it and stuff like that. So someone posted a picture of all 4 of those, and they were asking, all right, who has the best alternate helmet? Honestly, that Lions helmet is sick. Like I do like that one better than the Packers whiteout. But yeah, that whiteout game will be fun. It's always fun seeing those unique uniform mix-ups. And the Packers don't do it that often compared to some other teams. It'd be fun to see the Packers do a little bit more with that.
I don't think I have one laying around here. I have a Clay Matthews, it's that just navy blue. I hated that. Navy blue with that was so bad. I didn't like that one.
There were some pretty terrible. What about the bumblebee looking ones?
So if we're thinking of the same one, I think they're one of their more recent ones. Actually, maybe this one. Yeah. Are you talking about this one?
Yeah, maybe.
So
they had brown pants with them, right?
Yep, and the brown helmets. Yeah. It's not a fan. Not a fan. I like this one. Clearly, I like this one. Yeah, I got this. It's my wife's jersey.
Yeah,
never wear that again. Rodgers.
I think the whiteout's fun. And then last season, the green jersey with the yellow lettering, yellow stripes. I like that one a lot.
Oh yeah, that one's super sharp.
Yep.
I don't know. Yeah, I forgot about that one.
Even something more unique, more flashy. I mean, just once in a while. I don't want them to wear it every week, but
when I play Madden, I usually do the ultimate uniforms.
All the time.
Every time. And to be fair, these upcoming whiteout ones, the jerseys are just the away jerseys. It's just the helmet, really. That's all they got going for them right now. So
yeah.
All right. Well, we'll wrap up this edition of Overtime, and I got it framed. Ooh, you got it framed. See, that's what I think I want to do. Something I think that in a canvas for the giveaway would be pretty dope, and maybe put pour another logo in the bottom corner or something. So if not, yeah, I think we should do something like that. That looks good.
Yeah, I was gonna say something when you were talking about that to start the last episode. So yeah, that's an option too. You could win.
Yeah, I know. I should order it and then hold it up. But I think by that point we'll be at 1,000 subscribers. Hopefully here in the next week and a half. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit that. Probably gonna hit that 2,500 pretty soon here.
Yeah, any second now.
Yeah.
Those fucking Vikings fans would stop ripping me apart on TikTok. We'd get there a hell of a lot faster.
Just wait till Packers Bears week.
Oh boy. Bear down. Yeah. Oh, I talked to. We're going long, but so the Vikings have Skull.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll say my thoughts. The Bears have Bear down.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's a thing, and they paint their fingernails now. Bear down.
Oh, really?
Packers, go Pack, go. What did the Lions have anything?
Not that I'm aware of. I don't know.
No, I don't think they have anything. But that freaking Skull chant, oh my gosh! And the horn that goes off when they make first downs. We'll have to talk about that more when they face off again later in the season. It's one of the most. Have you been to a Vikings game like at Minnesota Packers Vikings?
Maybe a long time ago, and it would have been before the skull and the horn. It would have been before that. It would have been way back in the Metrodome days.
Yeah, it's pretty annoying. Vikings. I'm not gonna lie, pretty annoying. And I hope you're right. I hope your pick's right. We have a great week of picks, especially that Jets game. Let's just put it that way.
Thank you. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
We need to quiet them down. Yep. So on that note, we're wrapping up overtime. Subscribe, comment. Again, if you've made it this far, comment down below.
Yeah.
We have yet to receive a comment, which tells me, oh wait, we did. My buddy did it. But he works overnights as a physician's assistant. That's what he's just killing time. But if you make it to the end of this video, comment. All right. That's all I got. Till next time, we'll see you on the internet. Thanks for watching.